2024 has been the year of Middle Eastern perfumes. Do you agree? I have tried hundreds of new Middle Eastern perfume releases this year, and today I decided to talk about my top 10 best Middle Eastern perfume releases of 2024. All the perfumes that I'm going to talk about today are 10 out of 10 in my opinion, meaning they don't just smell good at first spray, but they also have very good longevity and projection. And since I'll only be talking about new perfume releases this year, you won't see here some of my other favorites like Musamam White Intense, Kamra Kawa, and Crafted Oud by Maison Alhambra because those perfumes are released last year. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury perfumes in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please do keep watching and consider subscribing. Actually, 3 or 4 days ago, I just uploaded my best niche perfumes. So if you haven't watched it yet, I'm gonna link it down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get this video started. On the 10th spot is a perfume from Lattafa, and this is Teriaq. And for sure, if you are an avid fan of Middle Eastern perfumes, you've heard about Teriaq already, right? It is created by master perfumer Quentin Bish, and because of that, this was actually hyped since launch. And what can I say? I have reviewed this several times in the past. You know that I love this fragrance. To me, this is mainly caramel and honey with some dried apricots plus rhubarb and rose. The rose in here is actually just in the background. There's a big contrast here between the sweetness coming from caramel and honey and rhubarb. I find this fragrance complex. It is not that likable in my opinion, but if you like a very feminine and elegant fragrance that is quite complex and I'll say something that has niche quality in it, I highly recommend you checking out Teriaq. I find this fragrance very unique, even though a lot of people compare this with Jean Paul Gaultier's La Belle, since Quentin Bish created it as well. But to my nose, they are not similar at all. Maybe just a little bit same vibe, because to me, this is mainly apricot, rhubarb, caramel, and honey. And also, this is a Middle Eastern perfumes that takes you to stages, okay? That's why I mentioned that it is quite complex. I think in order to appreciate this fragrance, you must love caramel and honey in your fragrances. Because to me, this smells like caramelized and honeyed dried apricots and rhubarb with some rose petals on top. Yeah. Once again, Teriaq by Lattafa, and this fragrance is definitely long-lasting with above-average projection. I find this fragrance also feminine leaning. On the 9th spot is once again by Lattafa, and this is Affection. Aside from mango, I feel like this year is also a year of pistachio, and since the launch of Khadlaj's Yum Pistachio, I feel like everyone is comparing all the pistachio releases with Khadlaj's Yum Pistachio. Don't you think so as well? Anyway, Affection though is such a beautiful take of Khadlaj's Yum Pistachio. Basically, to my nose, they are the same. This is quite lactonic, musky, and nutty because of the pistachio. Lattafa made a very good job with this fragrance because it is so good and addictive. It also has that blackcurrant note that is very uplifting to me. I noticed that I love blackcurrant notes in fragrances as it is a happy note in my opinion. And blackcurrant is quite prominent in here, and I think it is very balanced with clean musk, vanilla, and cocooning tonka bean along with that pistachio and some lactonic notes. absolutely dreamy, milky, and nutty scent. I have mentioned this fragrance several times in my channel already, and you know that I gave it a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend this if still you are looking for a perfect dupe of Kayali Yam Pistachio Gelato, because in my opinion, Affection wins when it comes to how similar it can be with Kayaliam. In my opinion, this is even better as it lasts longer. It didn't need to really mature and stuff. This was already good to go at first spray. Highly recommend it. Lasts more than 8 hours on skin and clothes, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. On the 8th spot is from Paris Corner, and this is Minya. And I have talked about this, I think, only once in my channel. And if you watch that specific video about Middle Eastern gourmands, you know already how much I love Minya. Minya is another pistachio fragrance, but this time, this also has a clean and little bit sweet almond. This is so beautiful and once again addictive. It is sweet, definitely gourmand, but this is a kind of gourmand that is kind of leaning to clean girl aesthetic vibes. Yeah, I don't know why. It is not too sweet in my opinion, and I think it is because of the heliotrope and cashmere notes in here. I find it a bit classy because of that powderiness coming from the heliotrope and enveloping vibes coming from the cashmere. This also has very prominent salted caramel in it. However, to me, it is not too in your face. Actually, this is a perfume version of Sol de Janeiro's Cherry Rosa, and I love that body mist. So now, knowing that Minya is basically the same scent, don't think that it will be too sweet, because the powderiness of heliotrope and cashmere actually elevated this fragrance for it not to be like, you know, just a typical gourmand that is too sweet or too edible. I absolutely love this scent. The kind of almond that is in here is just enough. It is not too sweet for me, because if you watch my channel, you know that I'm not really into sticky, sweet almonds. The almond that they use in here is like an almond body cream. Like, there's something about Minya that to me feels like a body butter. Having said that, it has quite of a buttery, creamy texture that I am really enjoying. Highly recommend this fragrance if you are a fan as well of Sol de Janeiro's Cherry Rosa 68, because basically this is just a longer lasting version of that with an added elevated touch. Longevity and projection are amazing as it lasted me more than 8 hours, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. On the 7th spot is something that I haven't talked about yet in my channel. To be honest, I have a lot of Middle Eastern perfumes to review to you guys, but then, you know, since it's the end of the year, I am concentrating on the best of the best kind of video content this week. However, I have a lot of new Middle Eastern perfumes to talk about with you guys next year, so stay tuned for that. Since I've been sampling around 20 or even like 25 Middle Eastern perfumes right now, I have included 3 of them in today's video because I was just blown away, okay? On the 7th spot is from Lattafa. I don't have a big bottle yet, but I have one coming as I find this fragrance so intoxicating, and yeah, I felt the need that I needed to have a bottle as soon as possible. Basically, I'll be honest, it is not something groundbreaking. However, this is such an intoxicating rum, caramel, coffee, cacao, and vanilla scent that I definitely would love to smell like. Is it gourmand? Yes, actually, it is very sweet. However, guys, I love the contrast of rum, coffee and cacao in here, as it is also a little bit boozy, a little bit chocolatey, and a little bit bitter. It's like a little bit of everything, but the final dry down is an intoxicating, thick, textured vanilla, cacao, rum, and coffee scent that is addictive. I find this fragrance very sexy, and yeah, to me, it stands out, even though it's not something that will blow your mind. Actually, this is a dupe of Born to Stand Out's Sugar Addict, and I have tried that fragrance only once when I was in Exxon's. I think since I was sniffing hundreds of perfumes, I really didn't pay that much attention to it, but I remember clearly how it smells like, to the point that actually Sugar Addict by Born to Stand Out reminds me of Exxon's, because I feel like that was, yeah, the scent of Exxon's. I was also surprised because I didn't think that I will love it that much compared to the other fragrance that I'm gonna talk about later. Because actually I could have just blind bought this, but I was thinking twice, so I just bought a sample first. And yeah, this is definitely a 10 out of 10, intoxicating, sexy, gourmand, and yeah, highly recommend it. Longevity and projection are above average. It already smells amazing at first spray, like all the perfumes in today's video, and I find this fragrance unisex. Once again, Artisan Ethnique by Lattafa. On the sixth spot is no surprise, as you've seen me raving about this perfume a lot of times in my channel, and this is Miraj Exclusif by French Avenue. I even consider this as like one of the best from the brand. And guys, how the bottle looks like is basically how the juice smells like. So having said that, this kind of looks vampy, dark, gothic, and sexy, right? Yeah, and the scent definitely smells like that. This has coffee, cardamom, jasmine, vanilla, oud, and incense. I love how the cardamom spiced up this perfume, and with a slight bitterness coming from coffee, it is just definitely dark, gothic, and sexy. The base of this fragrance is vanilla, oud, and incense, okay? However, it is not your typical barnyard-like oud and like not too spicy kind of incense. To me, this is very well blended. I have raved about this perfume in my channel since day one, and I've received a lot of good comments about it as well from you guys. So yeah, I just love this fragrance. By the way, this is actually a dupe of Penhaligon's Bewitching Yasmin, and I haven't tried that one personally, but a lot of you confirmed in the comments that they are extremely the same. Guys, Miraj Exclusif is such a beautiful and luxurious Middle Eastern perfume that I think is a 10 out of 10. It definitely smelled amazing already at first spray, and when it comes to longevity and projection, guys, this lasts more than 8 hours on skin and stays longer on clothes. I highly recommend it if you are the type who's into warm, spicy, bitter, a little bit oudy and incensey kind of scent. You can wear this if you're feeling sexy and vampy. This to me is a perfect date night scent. It is perfect for winter and fall and maybe spring at night as well. I absolutely adore this fragrance. Once again, Miraj Exclusif by French Avenue, and I find this fragrance unisex. All right, now we are down to my top 5, okay? And the next one is Athena by Maison Alhambra. You've heard me raving about this perfume as well over and over in my channel, so for sure this is not a surprise, right? Athena is basically a spot-on dupe of Burberry Goddess, and yeah, what can I say? It is the most sophisticated vanilla scent that you can get from the Middle Eastern market. This definitely has a sophisticated kind of vanilla, you know, a little bit green, a little bit sweet. It also has a little bit of lavender to give that slight calming effect, a ginger to give this fragrance a little bit of zing, and lastly, it has that addictive cacao that is just in the background. This is not leaning gourmand at all. This is something that you can use as a signature scent. In my opinion, the best signature scent vanilla from the Middle Eastern perfume market. Actually, I will say that this is the most affordable, likable vanilla in the Middle Eastern perfume market. I absolutely love this. This is one-to-one dupe of Burberry Goddess. So if you don't want to spend $100-something or euros for a big bottle, highly recommend you checking out Athena, as this costs less than 30 euros. And yeah, when it comes to longevity and projection, I would say that it is not like the longest lasting in today's list, but it lasts long. Let's say around 6 to 7 hours with moderate projection. And I find this fragrance feminine leaning. Once again, this is Athena by Maison, Alhambra. All right, next up is something that I haven't talked about yet in my channel, but I have talked about it in my Instagram page. And this is a new flanker of Teriaq by Lattafa Teriaq Intense. And guys, first of all, I want to thank my subscribers for pushing me to get this fragrance. Shout out to Karen and Maria, as they sent me DMs to check out this fragrance and the next fragrance that I'm going to talk about. Yeah, because guys, this is absolutely beautiful. It's funny how you guys know my taste, because you both said the same thing, like, oh, it's very sexy, dark, you're gonna like it, Joanna. And yeah, I absolutely love it. This is definitely sweet, boozy, and ambery. That is just my vibe. Definitely dark and vampy. In my Instagram post, I mentioned that this reminds me so much of Khambra Kawa, because to me, they have the same level of sweetness and booziness. But Teriaq Intense is the ambery version of Khambra, plus it also has a very sexy saffron and cinnamon combo that is just so appealing to me. I don't like all saffrons in fragrances, okay? Especially saffron that they use in a lot of Middle Eastern perfumes. However, the saffron that they use in here is niche quality to me. It is a dark and sexy saffron that I am just vibing with. Also, this has a very interesting note of plum liquor, which separates this fragrance from Khambra. I remember the first time I sprayed it, I was like, oh my God, I have a fragrance that smells like this. And, you know, I kept thinking about it, and I guarded myself checking Fragrantica. So after an overnight sleep, I figured out that it reminds me so much of Khambra. And actually, it is closer to Khambra Kawa to me, because it is also very sweet and not too syrupy. Okay, I'll say it's not as syrupy as Khambra Kawa in Kawa. Basically, to me, this is Khambra Kawa without the coffee and without the syrupy, sweet texture. Instead of coffee, you add plum liquor instead, plus a sexy saffron and intoxicating warm amber and benzoin in the base. Absolutely beautiful, very sophisticated, very unisex. I will say that on paper, this is definitely more unisex. However, when sprayed on skin and when smelled in the air, to me, this is very femme fatale. So having said that, it is unisex but leaning still more feminine. I love this fragrance, definitely my vibe. Dark, sexy, plum liqueur, amber, vanilla, and benzoin elevated by saffron. I highly recommend it. Teriaq Intense by Lattafa. Also, I find this fragrance perfect for fall and winter time. While the OG is more of an everyday kind of fragrance, they don't smell similar at all, okay? So having both is not redundant. On the third spot is a very new fragrance as well because I just discovered it recently. I only have a sample size and I have a bottle coming soon. It is also recommended by 2 of my subscribers. Thank you so much. You girls really know me very well. And yeah, I'm talking about Peace and Love by Lattafa. And guys, actually this is my scent of the day. I love it. This is a sophisticated and powdery rose tuberose combo that is also very creamy, hence intoxicating. The opening of this seems basic actually, but it's the dry down that is fascinating. I find this fragrance citrusy and musky in the opening. However, as it dries down, you know, the florals like rose and tuberose slowly picks through along with the powderiness of heliotrope, vanilla, and creamy sandalwood. It is absolutely delightful. Yeah, I think that's the adjective that I'm going to use in describing this fragrance. It is delightful. It is such a simple fragrance, yet it is very impactful to me. It is a dupe of Soi Malaki, which I haven't tried yet. That perfume is loved by many in the perfume community. So yeah, I was very curious about this and I ended up really loving it. Actually, I was waiting for my bottle to come before filming this video, but I don't know, since delivery and shipping I think will take ages this time of the year, right? So better for me just to film. Anyway, it is the dry down for me, as there is something about how it makes me feel when I smell the scent bubble that it gives me. To me, this is very feminine, very elegant. It smells very niche, absolutely beautiful. Actually, I'm torn between Peace and Love and Sweet Paradise by French Avenue to be on the 3rd spot. So I think they're kind of like in the same level of love for me. Sweet Paradise is just more on the nutty side. I will say that they have like the same vibes, to the point that if you love the vibes of Sweet Paradise, you will love Peace and Love. This is a beautiful, powdery floral that smells so clean, elegant, and sophisticated, not heady at all. And yeah, it is one of those fragrances that will just make you feel pretty when you spray it on. Yeah, when it comes to longevity and projection, this lasts on me, okay, like more than 7 hours. My decant is almost done because I am non-stop using it these days. This is my kind of floral musky scent. Once again, Peace and Love by Lattafa. On the 2nd spot, actually this could have been the 1st, but since it is just lacking the originality, it is in the 2nd spot. Scent-wise, I absolutely love Nudo Exotic Flowers by Fragrance World. I think I actually forgot to include this in the top 5 of Fragrance World, but guys, this is just so beautiful and so my vibe. A spot-on dupe of Initio's Narcotic Delight. Like, it's hard to tell the difference, especially in the dry down. I have raved about this fragrance the moment I received it, so if you watch my channel, you know it already. Basically, this is a boozy, cherry, peppery, and tobacco fragrance that is very addictive to me. I love how sexy and peppery this fragrance is. It is a bit boozy and smoky as well. It is not screechy, and the tobacco that is in here is not bothering me. It is very well blended along with the vanilla, pepper, and cherry, and maybe almond notes in here. Cherry and almonds are not listed in the note breakdown of Nudo Exotic Flowers. However, I am definitely getting cherry and almond vibes in the background. To me, this is mainly boozy, a little bit smoky, powdery, and sexy because of cherry and pepper. I absolutely love this fragrance. I would say that if you are into boozy kind of fragrances, you will love exotic flowers. This to me definitely smells expensive, and actually it is unisex. However, I'm not sure if any man is okay with this bottle over here. But yeah, I just love Nudo exotic flowers. Don't be fooled by the bottle, because this is definitely not floral or girly at all. This is a femme fatale kind of fragrance, my kind of smoky, boozy cherry. Love it. Highly recommend Nudo Exotic Flowers by Fragrance World. And longevity and projection of this one is above average, stays on me the whole day, and it has a very good projection for the first 3 hours until it becomes moderate. On the number 1 spot, for sure, you gonna guess it, right? Say it with me. Empire Victor by Khadlaj. Are you surprised? I have raved about this fragrance over and over again. This is just a perfect vanilla gourmand. I put it as number 1 Middle Eastern perfume released this year because I love the fact that Khadlaj made their own take of citrusy vanilla gourmand. This fragrance, I would say, is not like the most unique because it will remind you of a lot of fragrances like Dolce & Gabbana Devotion, Sergio Casamorati Lira, Theodore Scalutini's Lemon Tart. However, Emperor Victor is different. This, to me, smells like a vanilla cake with caramel drizzle and lemon shavings on top. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, it is gourmand, but it is not too sweet. It is a kind of gourmand that is very addictive, so worth the money, in my opinion. I would say that even if you're not into gourmand, you can kind of like start up with Empire Victor. I don't find the citrus notes in here too prominent. It is just perfect. Everything is very well blended in this fragrance. I find it as well a little bit powdery, especially in the dry down. So, you know, the citrusy factor is not too much. The vanilla that is in here is not too sweet as well. It has a beautiful, creamy sandalwood that added that woody factor in this fragrance and made it not just like, you know, an edible gourmand. This to me is a grown gourmand and I absolutely love it. The best Middle Eastern perfume discovery, in my opinion, this year, and yeah, highly recommend it. It is unisex, however, leaning feminine, and when it comes to longevity and projection, let's say it lasts me around 6 to 8 hours with moderate projection. Yeah, once again, Empire Victor, manufactured after April 2024 this year by Khadlaj. Alright, so that is a very fun video for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it as I enjoyed filming this video today, because these are really my absolute Middle Eastern perfume treasures of 2024. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or let me know if I did mention one of your favorite Middle Eastern perfume released this year. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I have one more best of the best video coming up soon. And in case you haven't watched yet my best niche perfumes of 2024, I'm gonna link it up in here so you can check it out. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you on my next one. Happy holiday, guys. Bye.